Hello guys, welcome to halfacremathtutoring.com, and today we're going to be answering conic equation questions. Alright, good. So let's just get started right away, and let's start off by reading our question. Okay, so the question starts off, Jimmy has 3 dogs. Each dog poops a turd on the rug in the laundry room. Jimmy tries to take the 3 turds and put them in the garbage can. However, Jimmy has nothing to carry them with, the turds of course, so he decides to put the 3 turds in his mouth. Ooh, Jimmy is a dirty boy. Turd Q accidentally slips out of Jimmy's mouth and falls on the floor. Jimmy steps on turd Q because it looks like a cockroach. He also swallows turd F by accident, and it is never heard from again. The only turd left in Jimmy's mouth is turd G, which is the only turd with a smooth elliptical shape. After being stepped on, turd Q splits into 2 turds, and there appears to be a hyperbola in between them, I guess. Alright, so that's the setup to our question. Now, there is a visual to help us kind of see what's happening here. So, here's turd Q, and you can see how he stepped in between it, and there is a bit of a hyperbola shape in between them, so you see that. Turd G over here has that smooth elliptical shape. And turd F, well, we really don't know what turd F looks like because Jimmy swallowed it. And here's Jimmy right here. Yeah, he's a smelly little dirty boy. Okay, so here's the questions that go with the setup. Question A, part A. Turd G can be described by the conic equation x squared over 29 plus y squared over 9 equals 1. Find the area and circumference of turd G. Okay, and part B says, the ends of the 2 turd Q's are the vertices 0, plus and minus 4, and there are the asymptotes plus or minus 2x. Find the equation of the hyperbola between them. Okay, so now we have our question, we have our setup, we know what we're doing, we're finding turds. Okay, so let's start off with part A. Okay, part A. So, part A, we are given the equation x squared over 29 plus y squared over 9 equals 1. Okay, and it asks us to find the area. Okay. Now normally, if we wanted to find the area, we could we could do something by like solving for y, and we get, you know, the b over the a multiplied by the a squared minus the x squared, and then, you know, we find the integral and multiply it by 4. We could do all that, but that's really a whole lot of nonsense. It's annoying. We don't need to do integral math. This is calculus after all. So instead, we're going to use Kepler's shortcut equation, which states that the area of an ellipse equals pi times a times b. Okay, so we're just going to plug that in here. So we have pi times a, which is the square root of 29, times b, which is 3. Okay, because the square root of 9 is 3. Okay, so we have our handy dandy little calculator over here, so we're just going to figure that out. So we're going to do pi times the square root of 29 times 3, and that gives us our answer. So the area is roughly about 50.8. We're going to keep it to 3 sig figs. Now, what does that mean exactly? I don't know. I guess maybe it's inches squared, so that's a pretty big turd. Okay, now we got to find the circumference of it. Okay, so the circumference is usually described by the really stupid equation 4a integral 0 to pi over 2, you know, square root 1 minus e squared sine squared theta d of theta, right? We use those equations to find something, I forget. So I don't really like that. This is calculus, and we don't do things like that in calculus. So we're going to use, you know, Kepler's other, his other shortcut, because, you know, it's really helpful. So his other shortcut states that the circumference equals pi times a plus b. Now, if you want to, you can do this up here, although I wouldn't really recommend it because integrals are annoying. And you could try a Math 9 on your handy dandy calculator over here, but you know, Math 9 is sort of something I don't really like to use, but Math 9 can be very helpful. And in fact, if you don't even know how to use Math 9, then you obviously need a better calculator. I would recommend a TI-84. So, but we're not going to use Math 9 because we're mathematician. So it's pi times a plus b. So a, of course, is square root of 29 plus 3. We already figured that out up here. So we're just going to figure that out right now with our calculator. Oh no, don't do that. So pi times square root of 29 plus 3, parentheses, and we're going to get about 26.3. I don't really know. So the circumcision of turd G equals roughly about 26.3. I'm not really sure inches, so that is of course a really big turd. And there's your answer to part A. We found the area and we found the circumcision of turd G. Okay, now let's move on to part B. Okay, so part B. Part B, we're given the vertices 0, 4 and 0, negative 4, and we're also given the asymptotes. We're given the asymptotes 2x and negative 2x. Okay, and it wants us to find the equation of the hyperbola. That's pretty easy. So all we need to do is think of it on a graph. So we have the point 0, negative 4 here. We have the point 0, 4 here. Here's our little graph, what you call it. And we have to think of a point that would be in the center of these, which of course is the point 0, 0, because it is 4 from here and 4 from there. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but we obviously have a we have a vertical hyperbola here. And if you look back at our illustration, turd Q was drawn like this, but in fact we're actually looking at it like this. So here's what we have to do. So our A is the distance from our center to our points here, which is 4 for both of them. So our A equals 4. That's good. And the next part, we have to use the asymptotes to try and find our B, because we know our center, we know our H is 0, and we know our K equals 0. So all we need is our B to finish the equation. Now we have our asymptotes up here, and the asymptote, of course, for a vertical hyperbola is the plus and minus A over the B, right? So now if we just set that equal to our asymptote, we get 2x equals A over B plus or minus. In this case, we'll just do the plus. So 2x equals A over B. We know our A, so 2x equals 4 over B. And we can just neglect the x for now. So just put that 2 equals 4 over B. So then we multiply B both sides. We get 2b equals 4. And we get B equals 2. So there you go, we have our B, we have our A, we have our H and our K, so now we can make the equation, and this equation ends up being y squared over 4 squared minus x squared over 2 squared equals 1. Now we multiply it out, we get y squared over 16 minus x squared over 4 equals 1. And we get our answer. I'll move that up so you guys can see it. So we got our answer right there. That is the equation for this hyperbola. And that's pretty much it, guys. It's pretty simple stuff. I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot of calculus going on here, but sometimes that happens in Algebra 2. So I really hope you guys like this. I really tried hard to make sure I taught you guys everything you needed to know, and I hope you enjoyed it. Next week we're probably going to look at something else a little bit different, but thank you all anyways.